Sumatra is Indonesia's largest island and has an incredible biodiversity, but this wealth is now threatened by human activity. Massive urbanization, deforestation, and intense cultivation of palm oil and poaching, all these elements put complex and fragile biological balances at risk. The Indonesian government took action to address the issue by creating vast national parks in the 90s. Yet it is still difficult to protect the large mammals, as needs of men living at the limits of those wildlife areas must also be taken into account. The cohabitation is often difficult for elephants, tigers, rhinoceros, and even peaceful orangutans who suffer from it. It is a major issue as these 4 species, all endemic to Sumatra, are listed as critically endangered. How to manage conflicts between humans and animals? What are the solutions to protect each one of them? Is there still a chance to save those last representatives of wildlife? In an attempt to answer these questions, Yves Lefebvre, a keen naturalist, invites us to follow him on his journey. From elite patrols to committed activists, let's meet men who have devoted their lives to animal welfare. Yves begins his journey in the Waikambas National Park, one of the most important biological reserves in the world. It shelters one of the last lowland forests of Indonesia and therefore is placed under the high protection of the authorities. Harry, an animal guide known for his vast knowledge of the species, will help him discover this sanctuary.
How large is the reserve?
At least 13,000 hectares.
And how many wild elephants are still here?
We estimate their number to be about 200, maybe less.
My dream is to see Sumatran wild elephants.
Then I'll try to make your dream come true. But you must remember, forest elephants are very dangerous.
Harry is a local and seems to perfectly know the reserve. I'm happy to have chosen him as my guide because I would never have ventured into this area alone. After going through this maze of branches, I see with great joy a clear, vast lowland. It incredibly contrasts with the jungle around us. We are in one of the last rainforests of Sumatra, an area which shelters a very rich biodiversity. The journey was not easy, but it is true reward to approach such a large herd. It is indeed really rare. The elephants, endlessly chased away and repelled by humans, have troubles dealing with territorial disputes and can become very dangerous. Each year they kill more than 600 people in the world and approximately a dozen in Sumatra. Those large animals, clever and ingenious, often come to raid cultivated lands when it's dark. It represents a financial loss as well as a possible danger for the villagers' lives. Is this an observation tower?
Yes, an observation tower, so we can see the elephants coming.
Today, the protection of the elephants is an ecological necessity, but humans also need to ensure their security. Digging ditches to keep animals from going to cultivated lands and villages seems to be a good solution.
Look here. When the elephants touch them, the cans begin to spin. And so they get scared and go back into the forest.
I understand them. It is quite frightening.
Yes, they get scared and run away.
Thanks to this rudimentary yet ingenious system, the farmers hope to avoid conflicts with the elephants.
So this is
See, the plantations begin here.
Oh yes, this is manioc.
tapioca.
Yes, and there are also tapioca crops and rubber trees. You see, wild elephants come from the forest, cross the ditch, and go that way to get to the crops, so they can eat them.
Sumatra's wealth is essentially linked to agriculture. Here, just at the limits of the national park, the fragmented plots of land are organized according to a polyculture system which shelters a rich ecological niche, yet fragile against an elephant's appetite. A farmer gives his point of view.
In Europe, elephants only live in zoos. Here in Huaycambas, they live everywhere in the forest. If they come into the fields to eat only a little, it is not a big deal. But if they eat a lot, then we cry a lot.
This man shows some generosity and common sense. He agrees to share a part of his poor crop because he's happy to know that elephants are free in his country. But such freedom implies frequent interactions between humans and animals, and even sometimes unexpected situations.
The life of a wild elephant is in danger. It's a female. Yesterday at dusk, a calf fell into this ditch dug to protect the crops. When she tried to help him, she ended up being trapped as well. A ranger unit named Elephant Response Unit, whose purpose is to handle crisis situations with wild elephants, succeeded in saving the calf, but couldn't do anything to move the frightened and angry mother out of the mud. The mahouts have entrusted their female elephants to take care of the baby, but these mothers of substitutions can't replace his real mother. This is a serious situation. If she can't escape from the mud very quickly, she will die. It would be a death sentence for a calf, as he is not yet weaned. It's almost noon and the sun is scorching. This distressed mother has been trapped for 18 hours now. Despite her terror, she tries to eat in a final effort. For the mahouts, it is an alarming sign. She's exhausted. They hope to make her react by bringing the calf to her, but the mother seems to be beyond all hope. She doesn't even react to her calf cries for help. They need to do something, at all costs. terrible. The elephant is out of energy, resigned. It seems like she's letting herself die, drowned, strangled. The rangers are aware of her imminent death, and so they are ready to risk it all. They steer their elephant into this formidable mud trap. It is a huge risk. The rescued elephant can barely stand. She tries to leave the human world. She is so shocked by what she has just experienced that she even forgets her calf. This marvelous reunion makes everyone happy. This event is a demonstration of the complexity of the relationships between humans and animals. Farmers and rangers have risked their lives to save those elephants trapped in a ditch that was dug to prevent them from raiding the crops. This is truly a paradox. But it is also a lesson of courage that makes me want to learn more about this specialist rangers unit.
Our first role is to combat poaching and the ivory trade. But we also deal with problems related to the wild elephants. Of course, we try to protect people and their crops. But we also handle all kinds of accidents. For example, this mother elephant trapped in a ditch. For us, it's part of our job. We love elephants. I met Tony, my working partner, before my wife. He's part of the family. We, the Maouts, are attached to an elephant for our whole life. He is like my first wife, so to speak. We do everything we can for them. Look how they love to take a shower during this period of drought. They are just like us.
This refreshing moment is especially appreciated by the pachyderms. Indeed, the rainy season is more than 1 month late. It's a worrying situation for wild animals. A long river runs through the whole reserve, but in a cruel irony, the sea nearby makes it too salty to drink. The rangers of the Sumatran tiger team supply water points with the limited means available. Their mission is to protect Sumatran tigers, an endangered species with a population of less than 400 individuals. Population growth and deforestation are in part responsible. But the worst scourge is still poaching. Furs, teeth, and bones are very prized items used in traditional medicine and are being traded at expensive costs all over Asia. In an attempt to save the species, the government, liaised with ONGs, has created specialized rangers units trained as commandos.
Hello, how do you do?
I'm fine, and you?
Their leader, Alim, explains to Eve how it's possible to make the most of the drought while helping wildlife.
It is very difficult to see an animal in this dense forest. But by bringing water, we attract wild animals in front of the cameras, which start automatically every time they detect motion. It's a great technology for us. It helps us to do extensive counting for lots of species that otherwise we never would have seen.
But why are your cameras fastened and reinforced?
Because poachers try to steal them, or burn them, or just try to break them. Sometimes they simply cut the tree down.
And how many cameras have you got over Way Campus Park?
Now we have about 50 cameras in place.
You have 50 cameras.
Yes, 50 cameras all over the reserve.
Did you record tigers?
Yes, there is even a tiger that passed in front of this camera 2 days ago.
Do you have videos?
Yes, I have pictures and videos.
Wow, a tiger was there.
Of course.
Wow, this is amazing. Wow. Is it possible to watch the video?
Yes, come with me. Look, here he is.
Unbelievable. You got something else to show me?
Yes. Look, we have managed to identify 35 tigers in Waikambas. They are solitary animals, and each one of them has its own territory, so we give them names. For example, you know what? There's one who just had 2 cubs. Her name is Mayong.
This is truly amazing.
Although the birth of cubs confirms the positive results that the Sumatran tiger teams have achieved, this is not the only means deployed by the government to protect endangered species. An unusual sanctuary was created within Waikambas National Park. It gives a second life to elephants rescued from several regions of Sumatra, where lowland forests, essential to their survival, have disappeared. Unfortunately, most of them will remain captive. Indeed, wild elephants live as close families, headed by a dominant female, and the youngest are taught how to live in the herd. If they were to be released, they could be dangerous to each other or to the villagers. So that elephants may bear their captivity, every day the mahouts take them for a long walk so they can stay in shape. Next comes the thalassotherapy, so to speak. The elephants enjoy a long bath with massages and attentive skincare. The residents are over the moon. It's unfortunate to see these animals in captivity, but there is still hope. Reintroductions of captive elephants are currently being tested in Thailand. If they succeed, one day Waikambas residents could be released in the wild. Until their remissions of sentence, it's lunchtime. Once again, each one of the giants is pampered. Portions are generous and directly delivered to them.
Within the sanctuary, elephants are kings. They even benefit from a private clinic where they're taken care of at the slightest problem. A simple lack of energy and the patient is immediately being put back on his feet thanks to vitamins and attentive care.
These productions highlight the Indonesian government's efforts. Helped by NGOs, it is trying to keep an elephant population as healthy as possible so that a genetic pool of quality can be maintained to save an endangered species. Animals who are victims of deforestation and poaching often arrive at the sanctuary and supply this pool. Such is the case for Yeti, an elephant calf whose story is just like a fairy tale. Caught in a trap and abandoned by his family, he was discovered by the rangers of the Elephant Response Unit. He was not yet weaned, but luckily, an elephant from the sanctuary immediately adopted the orphan. Since then, she doesn't take her eyes off him and teaches him, for better or for worse, everything an elephant has to know to improve his life. Here, how to ingeniously use his trunk to cool off with whatever he can during this intense heat wave. Today marks a very special anniversary. A banquet is being held in Yeti's honor. He has lived a new life in the sanctuary for 3 years, even if in this life the chains deny him the freedom he should never have lost. Here, surrounded by his new family, he should be safe from the greed of poachers and the international trade in ivory. And yet, against all odds, danger remains present. A brush fire that broke out a few hundred meters away suddenly interrupts the party. Fanned by the wind, it spreads quickly, and the means to fight it seem outdated. Despite the lack of proper equipment, the men have triumphed. The fire has spared the forest.
There are wildfires almost every day during the dry season, and they are very common. It is the poachers who start them.
This is terrible. What a pity. This wonderful snake is dead.
The purpose of these fires, started by poachers, is to force deer to flee in search of new shoots of trees. They disturb all wildlife, including tigers, which can't find enough prey anymore. Consequently, they may attack cattle or humans. A significant effort of reforestation has been made to change things. Trees are chosen according to several criteria. They must grow fast and have little vulnerability to fire. Moreover, they're a perfect food source for the rhinoceros.
I met another victim of poaching at the reforestation center. Kimun, a young siamang, a species closely related to gibbons. Rangers have taken him away from poachers as he was about to be sold in the market. He was then released into the wild, but he continues to visit his guardian angels regularly. I don't know if he's aware that his human friends are helping to rebuild his habitat, but he seems very interested by their work. A new forest for you, my friend.
It will be here soon.
Coming soon.
These planting areas offer a favorable environment for all species and plenty of food for another emblematic animal of the island. It is assumed that the population of the Sumatran rhinoceros does not exceed 80 specimens. Along with the Java rhinoceros, it is one of the most endangered species on Earth. Their horns are very popular on the Chinese market. 1 kilo can be sold at the exorbitant price of $30,000, making poaching stakeholders very rich indeed.
5 Rangers units have been deployed in Waikambas Park to protect the rhinoceros. Raman, the patrol leader, gives his instructions before their departure to the forest. As usual, the mission will be dangerous. The possibility of meeting heavily armed poachers represents a real threat. Those brave men are one of the last defenses against the extinction of a species that has evolved for 400 million years. The rainy season has just begun. As soon as we begin to walk, I realize that this trip will not be easy. The waterlogged terrain makes my progress difficult, and the patrol walks fast. Raman decides to set up camp. For the next days, we will spread out from here. I'm sure that this temporary shelter will be enough to protect us from torrential rains, but not so much that it will be effective against mosquitoes. As for tigers and elephants, I'd rather not think about it. Once the camp set up, we'll leave in search for the descendant of woolly rhinoceros. He's so rare that we would be really lucky to even find traces of his passage. Sure, walking with wet feet is annoying, but having leeches on my body is something I will have difficulties to accustom. I hate those vampires of murky waters. Animal lovers, welcome to the forest of Wakambas. If this track left by the passage of elephants allows us to progress easily, I try to forget my disgust for these blood-sucking creatures that abound in these waters and the fungal infections that threaten my feet.
Look, elephants were here. They have broken the cameras.
Elephants have done this?
That's right.
Broken elephant.
But how do they break them?
Well, it's simple. They just pull them off and walk on them.
Oh,
This time they have broken 2 of them.
boy, 2 cameras?
It happened very recently, and it's not the first time.
The matriarch detects the recording device and then warns her family members. This unexpected demonstration clearly reveals the conflictual relationship tainted with suspicion between humans and elephants.
If the camera traps succeed to snap surprising pictures, we obviously have to be much more discreet if we want to see animals in this primary forest. We choose to be totally silent. A group of siamangs moves in the canopy. Maybe our rescued friend Skimoon is among them. After our morning toilet and a generous breakfast, we go again in search of the rhinoceros. Raman shows me a liana that I didn't know about. It can save the life of a man lost in the forest. It contains delicious water that is almost fresh despite the 35 degrees Celsius temperature. It's a precious information that I must write in my travel diary. Are those tracks of a rhino?
Yes, he was here 3 days ago.
3 days ago? The work of the rangers resembles that of forensics. They meticulously write down the GPS position, the size of the tracks to determine the age and sex of the animal and take pictures for identification purposes. A few hundred meters away, another good surprise awaits us.
See, one has eaten leaves just here. But this time it is a young one.
It's a rhino?
Yes, a rhino. It was here 3 days ago. You know, we are able to distinguish them thanks to their tracks. We have seen these tracks 5 times.
It's another one? A baby with his mother? You have already seen these tracks 5 times?
Yes, and according to their size, we know that this one is almost 3 years old.
I'm really glad to hear this. The presence of a young rhino is a promising sign for the species. It confirms the effectiveness of the measures put in place to protect rhinos.
You see the excrement there?
It's a rhino again?
Yes, yes. He was here about 2 days ago.
How many rhinos do you think you have in this reserve?
23. Unfortunately, a few years ago, we lost one who was poached.
Poached?
Yes, yes, poached.
Poached? But how do you poach a rhino? With a trap or a gun?
With a gun.
From a tree?
Yes.
On a platform?
Yes, from up in a tree.
And you stay up there and you shoot from there, right?
Yes.
Did you already find a platform?
Have you ever seen a platform?
Yeah?
For hunting?
It is sad to say, but poachers, because of the deadly traps, see more rhinos than the rangers protecting them. This is one more reason why rangers must be proud of their dangerous hard work and the cause they defend.
Thanks to the conservation program, the last poaching happened 5 or 6 years ago. But the efforts to protect the species do not stop there. The Indonesian Rhinoceros Conservation Organization, YABI, has created an enclosed plot of land of more than 100 hectares. Seven specimens live there. They are under the care of veterinarians who have given them all names. Ratu gave birth to Andatu in 2012 and to Delilah in May 2016. To improve this dynamic and the genetic mixing, Harapan, an 8-year-old male, was brought over from the Cincinnati Zoo in 2015 so he could quickly become an active participant in the breeding program. His name holds great promise. Harapan in Indonesian means hope.
On my way back, I suddenly noticed animal tracks on the road. The ingenious defense system that is supposed to protect the village and the crops is destroyed. It is a solitary male. It's an impressive meeting. I know I should go, but this extraordinary contact is such a privilege and my emotions overpower my reason. He accepts my presence. It is an invaluable gift. And yet, this elephant, which have come into the fields to feed, is another evidence of the conflict between humans and animals. If Sumatran tigers, rhinos and elephants have increasing difficulty to find their place as they face anthropic pressure, a fourth species of the island experiences difficult interactions, but this time it is a hominid, just like us, the orangutan. To find out more, I fly to Kedah, a small city located by Gunung Leuser Park, to meet Mr. Jali. He has become a mythical figure in his region as he has dedicated his life to orangutans.
When I was a small boy, at a very young age, I became aware of the problems the animals face, having to survive the loss of their habitat because of deforestation. So I decided to take action against what is simply a planned extermination of orangutans. I created this eco-lodge on the edge of one of their last territories. That way, I can welcome tourists who want to see them. By developing a responsible ecotourism, I provide jobs for the local population, so then people don't have to cut down trees to plant crops anymore.
By promoting a circular economy, Mr. Jalid not only protects orangutans and their habitat, but also men and their purchasing power. He hires carriers and converts them to environmentalism so that they may become guides too.
The steep ground makes our progress difficult. My guide Nazir listens to the sounds of the forest. He seems to see beyond the dense foliage. He trails the orangutans, watching out for the slightest hint of the passage. Just a single piece of fruit leads us to the gourmand. We're close. But it's not easy to spot the great apes as they live at the top of the trees.
Orangutan is a word of Malaysian origin and means man of the forest. The word refers to 3 different species, one living in Borneo and 2 in Sumatra. These close cousins of the Homo sapiens are also among the most endangered animals of the planet. They are primates, just like us. They are extremely intelligent and share more than 97% of our DNA. Their populations, already fragile, unfortunately have a very low recovery rate. An orangutan female can only give birth to 4 or 5 babies in her lifetime. The babies are very dependent on their mother. They suckle up to the age of 6 years old and need to be thoroughly educated so that they and the generation after them can survive. For example, a female cannot raise a baby if her own mother hadn't taught her how to do so. And to make things worse, they are also the victims of horrible trafficking. Rich and unscrupulous men are ready to slaughter them so they can seize the babies and keep them as pets. It's a real sacrilege, as well as a double murder, as oftentimes young orangutans die from the separation.
The orangutan's territory suddenly ends here. In the last 20 years, 30 million acres have been deforested in Sumatra. That is almost 50% of the island area and 80% of the orangutan habitat. Here in Kedah, I have an example of the efforts made by men to conquer new territories. Farmers barely survive thanks to these few acres of tobacco or cocoa plantations. They have no other resources, but they reduce and fragment the wildlife habitat. The apes of those residual forests don't find enough food to survive, so they make incursions into the fields to steal fruits or cereals. Obviously, this situation generates new conflicts between animals and humans. Mr. Jelly's fight is an example for all. He protects both men and animals by trying to limit tensions. His passion is a model for new generations. And as his founder saying, in these forests there are orangutans and gibbons. Let's hope that our children can continue to say so. And since we're talking about young people, I absolutely want to meet another person who's actively involved in a similar fight before the end of my journey. His name is Joko, and he is not 30 yet.
The young man lives in the outskirts of Bukit Lawang. The city has become a major tourist spot thanks to orangutans. But today, it is completely surrounded by palm plantations. Joko has helplessly stood by, watching forests being cut down and replaced by destructive agricultural holdings. But one day, he decided to buy a plot of land by the river demarcating the national park for a specific purpose. There's a large boulder inside the property, inaccessible to humans, the Batu Kapal. Some giant trees cling desperately to it, offering a precious refuge for the last orangutans that still live outside the reserve. It's a raft in an ocean of palm trees.
It's beautiful here. You have a great view.
You see, the jungle and the reserve are just across the river, so orangutans often come to my property.
How many of them have you seen around the Batu Kapal?
26 with the baby born this year. He was born last month. So there are many of them. So I plant lots of trees for them, especially Marantis.
Ah, Marantis.
Yes, they're very good for the orangutans. They like to climb the trees, and the branches are strong enough to bear their weight. The apes are big and heavy. Plus, the trees grow fast. They can be this big in only 15 years. So I plant young trees. Marantis and fig trees are very important to the orangutans. They like to eat young leaves in the morning, and also flowers. But they also like to build their nests in the trees where they will spend the night. I plan to plant as many fig and jackfruit trees as I can. Apes love fruits. And if they eat them here, then they will not be in conflict with the farmers of the plantations that are nearby. You know, fruits are becoming rare in the area because now everyone plants palm oil trees. It really is an ecological disaster for all species, plants and animals.
These days in Bukit Lawang, the tourist activity generated by orangutans has been replaced by other economic interests. Around the city, plantations of palm oil trees cover several thousand hectares. It's a devastating growth industry. This monoculture kills the biodiversity of Sumatra and makes the soil sterile. In Indonesia, more than 20 million people make a living off palm trees, which bring in 20 times more money than rice and 10 times more than soy. Fighting the zealous farmers who destroy more and more forests to sustain their incomes has become a real challenge. And yet, Joko continues to defend his land and does everything he can to protect the men of the forest.
Because here, like my home, I was born here.
It's still my property, and I want to fight so that I can continue to live close to the ones that I consider to be my cousins. You see, there's a path near the Batu Kapal. I put up a sign. It says, "Closed to motorcycles. They frighten the orangutans. You can enter, but only on foot."
When do the orangutans come to the Batu Kapal?
They come here before dark, and that way they will have time to build their nests where they will sleep at night.
Oh, I see.
Look, up there.
Orangutans love to eat fruits and leaves, but also flowers and insects. The mothers must teach their babies what is edible, as well as the fruiting cycle of many different tree species. This way they do not waste energy by randomly looking for food. But here, At the boundary between the forest and the plantations, the situation is problematic. Orangutans who don't find enough food may be in perpetual conflict with the farmers. Joko is worried for their future. He does everything he can to make his property part of the national park, so that the men of the forest can find shelter and food there. Let's hope that orangutans understand his message and stop to visit the farmers' fields. During my trip, I became aware of economic and social issues that threaten 4 endemic species of the island of Sumatra. I have realized that humans' efforts are more important than ever to protect nature. Their commitment to saving those animals deserves respect and consideration. Their fight, far from being won, should induce us to reflect seriously on issues of a future more and more uncertain for many species. The complex biological balances that govern life on Earth are all fragile and connected. And according to the butterfly effect, it is time for each one of us to realize that we are all players of this fragile future. It's up to us to make it stronger or to see it collapse.